All right, folks, welcome back to Big SEC Guys 2025. Excited to share an update. We have a new co host, Joe Monroe, everybody. Round of applause. Welcome, Joe.
Good to be here. Good
Glad
good
to
to be
have you.
doing this. I will talk college football anytime, anywhere, for any length of time.
Love it. This is a real dream come true for me. Big SEC Guys back. We're going to talk college ball. We've got SEC media days right now. We've got a lot of great content, so I'm excited. Joe, let me tell you, this is a run the football type of podcast slash YouTube video series. So, what do you say
It's
we
the
do some
SEC, baby.
rankings? This is
It's the
the SEC.
SEC. Game is won at the line of scrimmage.
Love it. This is a line of scrimmage podcast. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Let's kick things off with a little ranking show. We're going to do some rankings for the SEC, different groups. We're going to do some team previews. We're going to do some predictions. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff this year on Big SEC Guys. But what do you say we start today? First episode, offensive line rankings. Let's go top five offensive line. How do you feel? You want to go shot for shot, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and talk about them?
Sounds good to me. Go ahead.
Why don't you kick us off? Who's your number five?
I got Texas.
Nice. Okay. Yeah,
They
Texas is my two. Love it.
really okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Texas, they've got some key pieces to replace.
Yep.
Uh, but they're pretty stacked. They've recruited well. Um, the big the big breakout year I expect from them is as this guy. What's his name? Gooseby. He's got long arms, big, tall, lanky. Was one of the
Oh,
better
yeah.
pass blockers last year in the SEC. Um, I'm kind of, and it'll be the same for my number four. I'm giving a lot of credit to maybe some unproven pieces and rankings coming out of high school and the coaching staff, right? But another thing Texas has going for them is a very, very play caller friendly offense that
Yeah.
will do a good job of putting them in the right position. So I got Texas. Go ahead and let's hear what you got at five.
Yeah, you've got Texas at five. I've got Texas at two. They lost Kelvin Banks, so you're right. The new guy at left tackle, Gooseby, he's got big shoes to fill, literally and metaphorically. I like Gooseby and Baker at the tackle spots. Those guys are huge. I think they're both 6'6", 6'7", so they're massive. DJ Campbell at guards, an All-American, All SEC caliber guy if he plays up to his potential. No idea who they're going to play at left guard or center, but I'm sure they have a ton of big time recruits vying for those spots. So feeling good about Texas. My five, I've got Florida at five. I think Florida's going to have a good offensive line this year. The star of the show for me is Jake Slaughter at center. He was preseason All American. USA Today did their preseason All American list, and he was the center on it. He's probably the best, definitely the best center in the SEC. And then they've got Austin Barber at left tackle. That guy's a dog, 3-year starter. He's got all SEC potential. So I think Florida's going to have a pretty good offensive line this year.
We'll see Florida later on my list.
Like it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to four. I'll go first this time. And this might be a name thing. I've got Georgia at four. Um, this might be just giving Kirby Smart credit where credit's probably due and earned. Monroe Freeling from the state of South Carolina at left tackle. Mike Bobo's son, Drew Bobo at center. Love it. You got Micah Morris at one of the guard spots, and I think you've got some competition between a couple of 4-star, 5-star guys at the other guard spot and the other tackle spot. So UGA is always going to have a lot of talent in the trenches. I sort of believe in Kirby there. What
I've
about
got
you at
I've
four?
got Georgia. I've got Georgia at 4 also.
Nice.
Um, Great minds think alike. I've got Georgia at 4. One other thing to touch on is they were just riddled across this offensive line last year in injuries.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
last year's curse may turn into this year's blessing. That's a lot of snaps that wouldn't have been played last year that got played, a lot of experience gained. But again, I also kind of feel like I might be leaning on a little bit of historical development and coaching on this one. But but yeah, I think Georgia's going to put an emphasis on running the football this year.
Oh,
They
yeah.
didn't they didn't have the best season on offense running the football last year. Um, they've had a slew of great talented backs come through there. We'll talk about them on a different episode when we get to the running backs. But I think it's gonna be a point of emphasis to be more physical on the offensive line, and some of that could have been with all the young guys playing last year, that were forced into roles that maybe they've had to grow into a little bit, and I think that growth is gonna show up, and, so, yeah, I've got Georgia at 4 also.
That's a great call out. Those injuries, that can be a curse, but can also be a blessing the next year when you got some of those young guys getting
Yes,
some
it can.
snaps in the SEC. They're ready, baby. Like it.
Yes, sir.
Who
Yes,
you got at
sir.
3?
So 3, Texas A&M. They've got probably the best duo at tackle, matching tackles. They may not have the best tackles, but when you put them both together, they've probably got the best experience and talent at the tackle position. That's, what's the guy's name? Zune is at 1. He's on the left side. I think that's how you pronounce his name,
Yep, yeah,
Zuh.
Zune and Crownover, the left
Zune
and
and
right.
Crownover, yep,
Yep.
both those guys, and then, on the inside, both guard spots, were big time players for him last year,
Oh, yeah.
and well, we'll get to my number 2 here in a little bit, but I might be playing a little bit favorite, and having A&M at 3 instead of a little higher, but, one of the guys who's probably gonna be playing a lot of snaps for Alabama this year, Dewberry, and played a lot of snaps for Texas A&M last year, left because he probably wasn't gonna be one of the guys on the inside this year.
Wow.
So you gotta be feeling pretty good when you don't have room for a guy who's probably gonna go start at another, you know, conference champion caliber contending team. So, I've got A&M at 3. Um, they know how to run the football. We'll see if they can keep their quarterback off the ground, and also their running back just got popped for a little legal issue, but just a slight legal issue. But if you're pushing people 4 and 5 yards off the football, you can usually hand it to whoever you want to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and with the running back, nothing some of the fine lawyers at Texas A&M can't handle. I'll get that taken care of in no
They're
time.
plenty of experienced.
Plenty of experience with those types of cases. I had Texas A&M at 3 as well. I thought about putting them at 2 over Texas. I probably should have now that we're talking about it. This is a Mike Elko pod. Everybody knows that. He's a football guy. You gotta love his teams in the trenches. And Texas A&M is gonna be solid, like you mentioned. Zune and Crownover are great at tackle. Reed Adams is preseason first team All SEC. He's their left guard. DeSantis is their right guard. Not sure who's gonna start at center, but you basically have 4 like semi elite offensive linemen. So that's gonna be a really, really good unit. I'm excited about them. I've got Texas at 2. I've already talked about them a little bit. Who do you have at 2?
I've got Alabama at 2.
Oh,
I've
wow.
got Alabama at 2. Yep, yep, and I again, playing a little homerism here, probably argument could be made A&M could be ahead of them,
Yeah,
but I think that you have 2 probably potential first rounders. I think Proctor's probably a surefire first round pick
top
on the
10.
offensive line that you're gonna
Yeah,
find in the, SEC. Brailsford is, if not the best center in the SEC, he's right behind Slaughter from Florida.
that's DeBoer's guy.
Um,
Yeah,
very, very good chance that he's gonna come off pretty early as far as centers go. I think this will be what his 3rd year starting, or 3rd or 4th year starting. Um, Started, I think, 3rd year. I think he started 1 year at Washington, was a first team All-American as a redshirt freshman, redshirt
nice.
junior this year. Um, and then we had to replace, Tyler Booker. Gotta replace Tyler Booker, but Jaden Roberts played a lot of snaps. He was banged up on and off last year, but he might be the most physically impressive human being that plays football. I mean, I forget who they were interviewing last year, but, he's the, who was it? It wasn't Fromby, it was, anyhow, I don't remember who it was. It was another offensive lineman, but he basically said, "I've never seen an object that Jaden Roberts couldn't lift." It just didn't matter what it was. He would pick it up and move it. So, a lot of beef there. He needs to improve his pass blocking a little bit, but he's played a lot of snaps. Played a lot of snaps over the last 2 years. Fromby's probably the front runner to take that right tackle position since Pritchett transferred out. Um, Played a good number of snaps last year, struggled, but again, that's to be expected of a young I can't remember if he's a freshman or a redshirt freshman last year. Young guy growing into his shoes. Uh, he looks a little stronger, a little bit more confident, this year. So, if he takes that next step, then you've got some depth there. I mean, that's still, it's not like it's a guy who's never played a snap before. And then at the guard position, it's going to be some kind of combination of Vandermark from the transfer from Michigan State, played a lot of football rotationally last year as Jaden Roberts was dealing with injuries. And then you have Dewberry, the transfer for an A&M, who's played a lot of football as well. So there's nowhere on the offensive line that there's not experience in big time college football. Okay. So you got to love that from an experience perspective. Depth wise, a little light at that right tackle position. If Fromby does not lock that down and we have to slide Vandermark out there, probably not as good enough a sign in there. And I've probably got Bama ranked a little too high on the list if that turns out to be a case. Not that Vandermark can't be effective out there, but Fromby has the tackle body. He's got the tackle body. He's the guy you want to win the job. And if we have to dig deeper into the depth chart to get somebody out there, it may not be as successful or but it might, but I think we want Fromby win that job. A name for everybody to look out for though is Michael Carroll. True freshman, big time recruit. They really love him on the interior. Would not be shocked if he finds a way very similar to how Tyler Booker did as a true freshman, 5, 6 games into the season to basically demand playing time. Where he's making too many moves to ignore in practice. So not saying that's gonna happen. That's a name for the future though to keep in mind. And if all of a sudden you see a true freshman on the starting lineup, that's probably gonna be the guy.
Like it. Yeah, I had Alabama at 1. The headliner's obviously Caden Proctor. He's preseason All-American, All-SEC. Probably the best offensive lineman in the SEC. If we were to do an SEC offensive lineman draft,
I agree with that.
I'd be
I
hard
agree with
pressed to take someone else at 1 other than Proctor.
Mhm.
Brailsford's great. Center, transferred from Washington to go with DeBoer. He's awesome. Like you said, Roberts and the A&M transferred Dewberry at guard. I had no idea who you all were gonna have at right tackle, so that's interesting to hear, but I think that Bama line's gonna be good.
Well, Wilkin Fromley, he was the starter in game 1 last year. Um, and, uh, and we ended up replacing him, with Elijah Pritchett. And, Pritchett was pretty inconsistent, throughout the year. It was kind of an issue. So Fromby and Pritchett were going back and forth with each other. I think it was just a case, to be honest with you, I really think it was a case of age and experience with Fromby. And I really do. I expect a little bit more seasoned player coming back this year. I mean, there's a lot of confidence to be built after spending a season going to war and then having an off season to digest what you need to work on, working on it, and then coming back with that baseline knowledge of what to expect on a week in, week out basis that you just can't get. You just can't get that kind of experience until you're thrown into the fire.
Like it. Alright, so my 5 is 5 Florida, 4 Georgia, 3 Texas A&M, 2 Texas, 1 Alabama. You've still gotta give us your number 1, and I've gotta
I've got
assume it's Florida.
I've
Go
got
ahead.
Florida Gators up there. Yep, 4 or
Wow.
5 starters back. Um, Off of a pretty good and efficient offensive line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think they led the SEC in yards before contact on running plays last year. So, when you look at the way Billy Napier likes to play football, he he demands that his offensive line pushes people around. And, I'm a big Billy Napier guy. It's gonna be a theme on the podcast
Yeah.
to my mother's chagrin. I actually have Florida, they're gonna be I think Florida's gonna be pretty good. I think they really made a smart decision not running Billy Napier out of town after his first couple of years.
Yeah,
Uh,
and their
I was
D
a big
line's
fan.
gonna be good
Yeah,
too.
yes, you gotta wait for the next episode.
Spoiler, spoiler.
Yeah, yeah, spoiler alerts. But, Billy Napier is building a good program down there. It's just gonna take time, but I think people are gonna be surprised. Even with that brutal schedule they had last year, he surprised to the upside. It's the same schedule this year, just flipping spots. It's just as difficult this year.
Yeah,
I think he's really gonna surprise some people. And, that's a little off topic from the offensive line, but again, the first or second best center in the league, and Slaughter played a lot of football. Um, you get that kind of cohesion with 4 or 5 guys coming back. That's always a sign to look for. I think it's Phil Steele, he puts out his magazine every year. One of the things he always says is, you look at the returning guys on the offensive line, and that
yeah,
usually is a pretty good
but
indicator of a baseline floor for that team. If you got a lot of offensive linemen that played a lot of football coming back, played a lot of football together, then that team more than likely when it gets into crunch time is gonna be able to win games that are those 50-50 games. And especially if they can run the football. And Florida could run it last year, you're gonna be able to run it this year. And if they can keep Lagway off the ground, um, I think the offensive line could be the unsung heroes, except on this podcast, we'll sing their praises,
oh yeah,
to a successful Florida Gator season.
I like it. This is what we call a tease in the radio/podcasting business, but we're gonna do some rankings for all the different position groups. I was just looking at offensive line, defensive line, and quarterbacks top 5, and I've got a Florida person in the top 5 in all 3. OLDL quarterback. That might be a recipe for a pretty successful season. This might end up
Alright.
being a Billy Napier podcast too, Joe.
I'm telling you, I mean, people are gonna wonder, are we really closeted Florida fans over here?
I know.
Um,
A
but,
South Carolina grad and an Alabama grad talking about Florida all season.
I don't ever wanna be called a homer because I will admit freely that I see the world through the crimson colored glasses, but,
Love
I
it.
will also give credit where it's due unless it happens on the plains.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, folks. Well, there it is. There's our top 5 OL. Joe, give us a rundown. Give us your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 again.
5 was Texas, 4 was Georgia, 3 was A&M, 2 was Bama, 1 was Florida. Again, you can flip-flop. I have Bama and A&M very, very close at that 2-3 spot, but I do have
Right.
Florida head and shoulders above everybody else, and, Georgia and Texas, you could probably flip-flop them. They're kinda in the same thing. I just think the experience that Georgia got across that front, having to mix and match players all last year is gonna pay through as they find their best 5 this year.
Yeah, I like that. I had Bama at 1, Texas at 2, Texas A&M at 3, Georgia at 4, Florida at 5, but I think you've talked me into Florida moving way up that list. I think Florida and Alabama might be, let's call them our 1, 2 for offensive line rankings. How does that sound?
That sounds good to me. That sounds good to me.
Like it. All right, Joe. Until next time, next episode, top 5 defensive lines. Look forward to that.
Who's gonna be able to stop the run and get pressure on the quarterback? There we go.
Who's who's going to be able to stop the run? SEC goal number 1, stop the run. Like it.